no school today. The boys and girls have come out to play, the small ones and the larger ones. But whether earthbound or skybound, small boy or large man, all are enthusiasts of gliding, the sport which brings us closest in grace and freedom to the birds. Getting into a glider is the most natural way men have yet found of putting on wings. Just like a seagull, without a single movement of its wings, the glider will use the air pushed up by the hills or warm air currents to climb and maneuver, soaring maybe to several thousand feet for a good long look at the world. And all this can be yours for about what it costs you to smoke, if you're a heavy smoker. In Britain today, gliding is booming. 5,000 men and women fly regularly at clubs like this one at Longmynd in Shropshire. This is Mrs. Anne Welsh, Britain's leading woman gliding enthusiast. Mrs. Welsh captained the British team to Poland last year, all men, and she kept them in order. She can tell you why gliding is so attractive to women.
Well, it's perhaps the only sport which men and women can do on equal terms. It's not a question of sheer physical strength at all. Just the added advantage of intelligence.
Yes, they do make jolly good flyers. Still, it's not like on the road, you know. I mean, up there they've got all the room in the world to career around in.
Well, it's safer than travelling on the roads, or even working in the kitchen, for that matter. All my children have been up, and she enjoyed every minute of it. Serious accidents are very rare, and even if a glider does get broken, the pilot is invariably unhurt, except, of course, for his pride. Speeds are low, and you can land a glider almost anywhere. In fact, it's only when you get back to Earth that you start living dangerously again.
But skilled training is essential. It takes the average pupil about 40 flights with the instructor before he's ready to go solo. Then the whole world is open to him, and the sky is truly the limit. You can fire a glider into the air from a hilltop with some elastic, much as a boy does with his toy. But this is another way. It may be a clumsier way of getting into the air than flapping your wings, but it works. That's how they have to be launched at clubs like Cambridge, dropping their link with the internal combustion engine once they're airborne. From an airfield, for instance, or wherever the ground is smooth enough, the glider pilot can use a car to pull him into flight, rather like a boy gets his kite up. Or you can even thumb a lift from an aircraft, a practice which demands a high degree of skill. But in contrast to the plane, the glider shows a delicate grace more truly birdlike. When your tug plane rumbles off on its routine job of taking people from A to B, you're left alone. Alone in the most glorious isolation man can know. This is the sight of it, and this is the sound of it. If you've ever dreamt of bouncing on puffy clouds without falling through, you must have been born to be a glider pilot. Many countries officially sponsor their gliding organizations, but in Britain there's no government grant, and gliding is in the hands of private enthusiasts. At Leighton Park School, Reading, 15 of the boys, under their physics master, built their own glider in less than 2 years. Here's Sir John Wolfenden, Vice-Chancellor of Reading University, christening it. Here, the boys get their first lessons in flight and find out how nature can be made to help. This lad is on his way to the clouds in search of the cotton wool cumulus cloud which signals warm air currents, thermals they call them, on which you can soar to great heights. Thunder clouds too supply the turbulence which will lift a glider high. There's a whole lore and language of gliding, rich in tales like the one of the man who flew a 20-year-old glider into a thunderhead which whirled him up with such immense power that he only came out of his climb at 29,700 feet with frostbite and the British height record. It is to the clubs themselves that your enthusiast will finally go to fly, matching himself against the weather and the skill of other pilots. The only divisions between men up there are the ones of natural skill. Britain's top glider pilots include an ironmonger, an RAF transport sergeant, a salesman, and a housewife. Britain's national gliding championships are held at Lasham in Hampshire, and they draw the best pilots from all over the country to camp on the airfield with their families. It's all right. Those wheels are meant to drop off. The non-flying wives are busy from morning till night, helping to keep the gliders flying, cooking, checking equipment, refueling the tug aircraft which shuttle competitors into the sky. But the biggest job of all is chasing the pilots across country with a trailer to recover them and their craft wherever they come down.
I said you forgot your sandwiches.
My gosh, I did. Look, I'm running out of thermals and going into Milburn. Milburn. Can you be there in half an hour? Over.
Well, I'll try.
And whether you've been out competing or soaring on your own, there can be no more gladdening sight at the end of the day when you return to Earth than this.